Welcome to the channel. Have you ever been embarrassed when speaking English because you were scared to make an error? Perhaps you stopped, hesitated, or went silent, telling yourself, "My English is not perfect." But here's the reality. There is no one who speaks perfect English, not even native speakers. Everyone makes mistakes. Everyone forgets words. Everyone pauses to think. So in this video, we are going to cover a powerful concept. You don't have to be perfect to speak with confidence. In fact, it might be perfection chasing that's keeping you from moving forward. So what does it take to go from trying to speak perfect English to saying things effectively? You find yourself speaking real English. You start speaking freely. You really like talking to people again. And we can start this journey together. Chapter 1. The Illusion of Perfection. When I began to learn English, I had one aim. I wanted to speak perfectly. No mistakes. No wrong grammar. No pauses. Just smooth, smart English. I thought that if I spoke perfect English, people would respect me and treat me better and think I was smart. So I had been cautious, too cautious, every time I opened my mouth to speak. I mentally lugged each sentence around first. I attempted to correct every tiny error. And what happened? I became quiet. I became slow. I became scared. Instead of being myself, I was talking as if I were a robot. I was forever self-correcting. I'd stop and I'd back up, and I'd try again, and sometimes I'd just say, "Fuck it." The pressure to be perfect was making me feel anxious and exhausted. And soon, I began to do anything to keep from speaking. I promised myself, I'll talk more when I know English better. But that day never came. One day, something happened that forever altered the way I think. I was listening to a live interview with a native English speaker, a famous actor. He was talking quickly, with assurance and authority, yet also peppering his speech with, and kinda, and a couple of grammatical errors himself. And then there are two types of roles, he said at one point. He backstepped, chuckled a bit, and just went right on. Nobody laughed at him. Nobody judged him. He was not perfect, but he was real. And everyone understood him. I realized something very important at that point. Not even native speakers speak perfect English. They make grammar mistakes. They use filler words. They are midway through a sentence, and they don't pause to make everything right. Why? Because real conversation is messy. It's natural. It's flowing. It is more a matter of connecting, not impressing. So where did this concept of perfect English originate? Some of us were taught, I think, in school that language is all about rules. Grammar rules, spelling rules, sentence structure, exams, marks, red pen corrections. We were told, don't flub up things. But that's not how language operates in the world with a population. Real English is chock full of shortcuts. People go gonna for going to. They say wanna, never want to. They mix up tenses. They interrupt each other. They're not always the ones that fit in the grammar books. But guess what? They still communicate. And communication is the actual goal. I want to share one simple yet profound thing. Fluency is not about speaking perfectly. It's about being able to speak with comfort. It's about saying what you need to say, even if it isn't perfect. It's about making your ideas clear and understood, even if there are minor mistakes. Speaking good English does not require 100% perfect grammar, and you just have to be heard. That's it. Now think about this. Have you ever known someone who uses your first language as a second language? Maybe they made mistakes, perhaps they had a strong accent, but you understood them, and you weren't worried about their mistakes, right? The same is true for you. When you speak English, almost nobody cares that you say, he go, instead of he goes. They are trying to get you. They just want to talk. Perfection is an illusion. It's not real, and pursuing it will only make you feel stuck. It's like you're trying to grab the sky with your hands. You'll just keep leaping and missing. But if you're invested in growth rather than perfection, each day is an opportunity to improve. You'll speak more, you'll learn faster, you'll enjoy the process. Can I get personal here for a moment? But once I let go of trying to speak perfect English, I began speaking more freely. I misspoke sometimes, but I kept going, and I didn't correct myself on all of them. And guess what? People understood me. People replied to me. People appreciated my effort. That gave me confidence. And gradually, my English got better. Not because I was perfect, but because I was practicing. So, if you're always trying to sound like a native speaker, trying to speak like a textbook, trying to say everything perfectly, then you're making your journey more difficult. Don't make that mistake. Instead, do this. Speak simply, speak clearly, and don't stop to correct every mistake. Just keep going. Just keep speaking. I want to give you a little job. The next time that you speak English, try to make 3 errors. Yes, 3. Make them proudly. A slip of the tongue, a smile, and on we go. Because it's in those mistakes that you are learning. And that is what machos in war never do. Now let's keep going. In the next chapter, I'll discuss fear, the fear of failing, and expose how to shatter it. Because once you no longer fear mistakes, you'll begin making genuine advances. Let's continue. Chapter 2. The fear of screwing up and how to overcome it, I'll give it to you straight. I was scared to speak English at first. Very scared. I had studied English for years, reading, writing, and listening. But when it came to speaking, I froze. My hands would sweat. My heart would beat faster. I was anxious. What if I say it incorrectly? What if they laugh at me? What about if they don't get me? Fear did not allow me to speak. I held my peace even when I knew the right answer, even when I wanted to speak. And do you know the sad part? I had many chances to speak. I met tourists. I had good friends in my classes who spoke English, but I stayed silent. I told myself, wait, just wait till you get better at talking. But that day didn't come. I had nothing, mind you, to wait with for the fear to go away. I was waiting for perfection. I was waiting for confidence. And I was stuck. I made a minor grammar error during one of my classes one day. I said, he goes to school every day. My classmates laughed. My face turned red. I wanted to leave the room. Oh, that's why I should shut up, I thought. But then, There came something my teacher said that I'll never forget. She added, "The one who speaks with errors learns more quickly than the one who is silent." Let me repeat that for you. He who talks with errors learns faster than he who is always silent. That sentence was a total game changer for me. I came to understand something big. Mistakes are not your enemy. Silence is. If you don't say anything, you save face, but you also stymie your growth. But if you talk, even with errors, you open the door to genuine progress. Consider how children pick up language. They don't read grammar books. They don't concern themselves with tenses. They just speak. They say funny things. They mix up words. Sometimes they invent words. But do they stop? Number. They keep going. They laugh. They try again. And after a brief period, they're fluent. Why? Because they don't give a damn about being wrong. They only care about telling the world who they are. So I thought, can I be like a little child learning all over? Can I ever let go of fear and just, speak? And I decided to try. The next time I spoke, I didn't aim to be perfect. I just tried to be clear. I said short sentences. I made small mistakes. But I was speaking. And something wonderful happened. People got me. They didn't laugh. They didn't correct me. They smiled and replied. And that made me feel more confident. Here's what I learned. Most people are not judging you. They're listening to you. They don't mind if you forget an S or choose the wrong tense. They care to hear your message, your effort, and your courage. Here's a concrete example for you. Once I was at a coffee shop. I attempted to say, "May I have a cup of tea, please?" But I was nervous. My English got mixed up. I said, "I want tea. One, please." It was not perfect, but the man smiled and gave me some tea. "One tea, here you go." That moment gave me hope. My message was received. My English worked. Not because it was great, because it wasn't, but because I attempted it. So how do you break the fear? I'll give you 3 things that have helped me. 1. Start small. Use brief, straightforward sentences. Don't try to sound smart. Just say what you can. I like coffee. This movie is good. I go to work every day. These are simple sentences, yet they boost your self-assuredness. 2. Speak every day. Don't wait around for the perfect moment. Speak in front of the mirror. While no one is around, you can talk to yourself in your room. Say things out loud. 1 minute a day can change everything. I would stand in front of my mirror and affirm, "You're learning. You are improving. Mistakes are okay." It was strange at first, but after a week, I felt stronger. 3. Change your mindset. Don't worry. What if I make a mistake? Start considering something like, what if I find out something today? Turn fear into curiosity. Good for saying something wrong if you do. Now you know what to improve. All mistakes are an advance. Here's a trick I continue to use today. Deep breath, smile, and then speak English. It's a simple gesture that relaxes your brain. It reassures your mind. It's okay, I'm safe. And you will feel more secure in having your say. Fluency doesn't mean perfect speech. Remember that. It means comfortable speech. It means you're not afraid to talk, even when your English is a little rough. And that's where real learning occurs. So, starting today, do not wait to feel confident. Don't wait to be perfect. Just start speaking. Mistakes will come. That's good. That means you are growing. In the next chapter, I'll tell you what you can say, even if your English is fragmented. You'll find out why flawed sentences beat out no sentences at all, and how talking for a few minutes each day can transform your life. Let's keep going. Chapter 3. Think in poorly spoken English, but think. When I was learning English, I thought to myself, I'll talk when I feel ready. I'm not going to lie. I repeated that to myself for what felt like years. I imagined that I needed more grammar, more vocabulary, and better pronunciation. I imagined I would wake up one morning and know how to talk, be eager and slick about it, suave. But that day never came. As much as I studied, I was still afraid to speak. And then I had an important realization. I was waiting for a perfect moment that would never come. So I just tried something different one day. I said to myself, you may not be perfect, but you can still talk. The decision was a game changer. I started small, very small. I popped into a corner store to pick something up. Typically, I'd just gesture at the item and shut up. But this time, I looked the man in the eye and said, 1 water bottle, please. That's it. Just 4 words. Was it perfect? Number. But it was a start. I spoke. I used my voice. I took a step. And that act earned me a small win, a small victory. The next day, I tried again. I got to the tea stall and I said, 1 tea, no sugar. Again, short and simple. The man smiled and handed me the tea. I smiled too. I was not waiting anymore. I was doing. I practiced at home in front of the mirror. I said, hello, how are you today? I am fine. I am learning English. The grammar was simple. Some sentences were broken, but I didn't stop. I kept speaking. I wasn't seeing this as a student would. I thought as a speaker thinks. You know, here's the truth. Broken English is not bad English. Broken English learns English. It's practice. It's progress. It's movement. And action is better than inaction. I want you to know this. You don't become fluent and then start speaking. You speak and then you get fluent. That's the real rule. Speaking is not the reward. Speaking is the practice. It's the road to fluency. Every phrase you say, the more stumbling, is a Chinese wall to your confidence. Let me introduce you to a friend of mine. He was in a new country and didn't speak English very well. At first he was quiet. He felt embarrassed. He worried judgmental people would judge his grammar. But then, readjusting his mindset. Then he began speaking in short sentences. Where is the bus? How much? This is nice. Over time, he added more. I'm looking for this place. Can you help me? I want to learn English. He had broken English, but it was good. People understood him. Confidence in himself, and every day his confidence grew. Today he speaks fluently. He laughs about the old days. If I waited for that, I'd still be silent, he tells me. That's powerful. And that can be your story as well. I have a trick for you. I have done this. Each day I set small speaking goals for myself, and each day I would thank 3 people in English. The next day, I would list 5 objects near me in English. This is my chair. That is a fan. I see a window. The curtain is blue. The table is clean. Simple things, easy words, but real practice. You don't have to use big words in order to start speaking. You need small courage, just a bit of courage to state, I'm learning, I'm trying, I'm speaking anyway. Don't worry about grammar. Your grammar will also take time to get better. Don't worry about vocabulary. Along the way, you'll learn new words, but if you wait to feel ready, you'll be waiting forever. So speak now. Even with broken English, even with mistakes, even if you have to pause to do so. Just speak. Let me ask you something. Which is worse, best totes chatting lined English or no adapter at all? The answer is simple. The problem would be not talking at all. Broken English can be fixed. Silence cannot. I want you to do something today. Speak in English to yourself for 2 minutes. Say what you did today. For example, I woke up. I drank tea. I went to work. I met my friend. Now I am home. Don't try to make it perfect. Just speak. Get your mouth used to saying those words. Let your mind learn to speak. You can even voice record. Play it back after a week. You'll be able to listen to your own progress. That's how you grow. Day by day. Step by step. Sentence by sentence. Keep this in mind. Acquiring fluency is not one giant leap. It's many small steps. Every broken sentence is a step ahead. Every tiny conversation is a step. You take a step every time you open your mouth. So don't wait. Speak today. Speak now. Even if it's not perfect. Particularly if it's not perfect. Because that's how you learn. That's how you grow. And that's how you gain fluency. In the next chapter, I'll share how you can train your brain to stop worrying about mistakes and start thinking more big picture when it comes to real communication. Because when your purpose is connection, not correction, everything changes. Let's keep moving forward. Chapter 4. Your best teacher is your own mistakes. Let me start with a story. A learner I knew was studying English in a cafe. He wished to order something with chicken, but when the server asked him what he hoped to order, he came out with, "I'll have the kitchen, please." Yes, kitchen, not chicken. The waiter grinned, and a few people around laughed. The learner felt embarrassed. His face turned red. He wished for a second he could disappear. But guess what happened next? He laughed too. He laughed and said, "Oh, sorry, I mean chicken." And the moment passed. He got his meal, he ate, and he left the cafe. That evening he told his friends the story, and they laughed together. And you know what? That one error he committed, meanwhile, bequeathed him a powerful memory, a strong lesson learned, and a funny story to tell. That's what mistakes do. They are better teachers than any textbook. They stick with you longer than the perfect sentence. They make learning real. For now, here's something you need to know. It's okay to make mistakes. Even native speakers, even English teachers, even people who have lived in the English-speaking world for 20 years. I still mess up sometimes. I still mix up words, but I don't feel bad anymore, because I know mistakes are just part of the growth process. In fact, mistakes are your best teacher. Why? They show you what you don't know. They point out what needs improvement. And when you correct a mistake, the memory grows stronger. It sticks. You remember it more than things you were correct about. Think about this. You don't need to think about things if you have it all scripted 100% perfectly. You move on. But if you say something wrong and someone corrects you, you slow down. You listen. You repeat. You learn. Confidence is built by that process. I used to fear making mistakes too. The first time I ever spoke English, I was too afraid someone would correct me. So I didn't speak much. But then, I noticed something. I made as though people didn't give a shit about my wrong turns. Most of them were kind. They helped me. They were happy I was trying. And the few who laughed, and I'd realized they didn't matter. They were not on my trip. So I changed my attitude. I said to myself, everybody makes mistakes. Mistakes are good. Mistakes mean progress. Let me tell you how I reacted to my own failures. First, I laughed. If I made a joke or if I misspoke, I smiled and said, "Oops, that's not right. Let me try again." This helped me stay relaxed. It demonstrated that I was learning. Second, I learned. After each gaffe, I would think, what should I have said? Then I delivered the right one. I even wrote it down. That helped me remember. Third, I repeated. The following day or week, I utilized the exact same sentence, this time properly. And that's how failure became learning. And guess what? The more mistakes you complete and correct, the more confident you become. You stop feeling afraid. You start feeling free. You learn, I don't have to be perfect to be heard. I just need to try. Let me ask you, have you ever made a comical mistake in English? Maybe you said the wrong word. Perhaps you got the tense wrong. Was everybody still able to understand you? Probably, yes. Language is not about perfection. It's about communication. I'll tell you a secret. Many people who speak fluently now speak fluently because they made more mistakes than others. They spoke more. They failed more. They tried more. And every failure made them learn faster. Here's an idea for you. Ideally, when you practice speaking every day, you will try to make a minimum of one mistake. Yes, one mistake. Why? Because that is a sign that you are pushing yourself. You're trying new words. You're testing your limits. That's where the real learning is. Also, when someone points out something wrong, say, "Thank you." Don't feel bad. Don't feel shy. Feel happy. That correction is a gift. It's a sign someone is helping you grow. And if no one calls you on it, even better. You can correct yourself. Just keep speaking. Keep noticing. Keep improving. So I'm going to ask you after today to stop being in a relationship with mistakes. Don't fear them. Don't hide from them. Welcome them. Learn from them. Let them guide you. You know the man who called kitchen before chicken. It was that one little mistake that made him a confident speaker. He learned to laugh. He learned to speak. He learned to grow. Now it's your turn. In the next post, we'll discuss what it looks like to start redirecting your energy from being right to being understood. Because when you give up on trying to be perfect and instead focus on connection, fluency comes so much quicker. Let's keep going. You're doing great. Chapter 5. It's all about connecting. not perfection. Let me tell you a true story. I was strolling through the park one day. I spotted an old man sitting on a bench by himself. He seemed at peace, just sitting there watching the birds. I didn't know why, but it seemed like it was the type of day to say something. I sat near him and smiled. I glanced at the sky and grumbled, "Today, very good weather." That's all I said. Just 4 words, not a full sentence, not perfect grammar. But you know what happened? He glanced at me, smiled, and replied, "Yes, it is a beautiful day." Then we started talking. About birds, about life, how quiet the park was. I didn't use big words, I didn't speak perfectly, but we connected. That tiny piece of time stayed with me, not because I spoke English perfectly, but because I had the courage to speak at all. This is what language is actually for. Not perfection, connection. So many learners wait. They wait for better grammar, better vocabulary, a better accent. But pacing causes silence, and silence creates distance. You can learn 10,000 words, but no words will help you form a bond with another person if you're too scared to speak. And here's what I've found, after many years of teaching and learning. People just don't care if your English is perfect. They care if your heart is true. They care if you smile. They care if you listen. They worry that your words are kind. That's communication for you. When you talk, don't worry about impressiveness. Focus on expressing yourself. All you need to do is make your point. And that is what makes your English strong. Let me ask you a question. If somebody says to you, "You help me. I need a bus," would you comprehend? Of course you would. Is it perfect English? Number. But the message is clear. You know they need help. You know they're searching for a bus. That's what matters. Now pretend that they had kept silent until they could form the most effective sentence possible. You would never know what they wanted. You wouldn't be able to help. That's why we say connections first, correction later. Actually, a lot of native speakers break the rules of grammar constantly when talking informally. They say stuff like "gotta go" and "wanna eat." There's no way. It's not textbook English. But it works. It connects. It feels natural. So quit being scared of being perfect. Begin to try and, can they get me? Can I make a connection? That's the real goal. Here's another example. I used to assist a tourist who was stranded in my city. He said, "Train? Station? I don't find." His sentence wasn't correct, but I knew what he meant. I gave him the right direction. He grinned and exclaimed, "Thank you, buddy." That moment was beautiful. We didn't require perfect grammar. We needed understanding. And we had it. That's why I need you to make a new rule. Not speak perfectly, but be understood clearly. Use simple words. Use short sentences. Be polite. Be warm. Don't be afraid or self-conscious, even if your grammar isn't exact. Here's how I practice this. Each day, I selected one small thing I would have told somebody. Good morning. You look happy today. Can I help you? Where is the market? Have a nice day. I wasn't concerned with perfection. I just said it. And something remarkable started to happen. People responded. They smiled. They talked back. And I felt happy because I was reaching out in English so that we not just learn, but live. You can do this too. Don't try to be impressive. Try to be present. Speak from the heart. Make your message as straightforward and sincere as you can. And you'll discover just how much power your English has. Allow me a few pedestrian instances of this. Adjust, I am feeling a lot of difficulty, down to, I'm having trouble. Instead of, could you help me a little? Just say, can you help me? Rather than, the weather is quite unpredictable, just say, the weather keeps changing. You don't need fancy words to attract attention. You need clean words and kind words and honest words. That's the secret. And here's one more tip. When you're nervous, smile. A smile has no language. It's easier for the conversation. It looks self-assured, even when you're feeling shaky within. Remember, nobody remembers your grammar. They remember your kindness. They'll remember how you made them feel. That is the power of connection. So switch your goal as of today. Not, I want to learn to speak perfect English. I want to connect with people in English. Make your own story. It will be the one change that gives you confidence. It will give you purpose, and it will help you grow as you never have before. We will go further still in the next chapter. We'll discuss something very important. How to stop comparing yourself to others. And that's because comparisons are the source of pressure, and pressure kills progress. Let's move forward. You're learning English, but not just English now. You're building connections, and that is the most beautiful part of it, your journey. Chapter 6. The truth. No one is perfect to begin with. And let's finish off this video with the most important truth of all. There's no such thing as perfect English, not even native speakers, not your favorite actor, not the English teacher, not the child of London or New York. Nobody. And once I realized that truth, it freed me in so many ways. You see, when we're learning English, we assume fluent people don't make mistakes. We assume that fluent speakers of a language always speak and write grammatically, or correctly, or in full sentences, or with the perfect language in terms of vocabulary. But that's not true. Real English isn't textbook English. It's fast, it's messy, it's riddled with pauses, slang, and small slips of the tongue. Let me give you a few examples. Did you ever hear anyone in a movie say, I ain't got no idea? That's not correct grammar. But it's common slang. Or someone who says, gonna go now, instead of, I am going to go now. Or he don't care, instead of, he doesn't care. These are not examples from learners. These are people who speak English from birth. They say these things daily, in ordinary life, on the street, at home, and even in the workplace. Why? Real speech differs from written English. In real life, people are not contemplating grammar rules. They're going about the business of meaning, about emotion, about speed and rhythm. And that's okay. I began to have that experience when I'd watch interviews, shows, and podcasts. But I paid attention to what people were saying, but also to the way in which they were saying it. And here's what I found. They paused. They repeated words. They had filler words such as like, and They switched thoughts in the middle of a sentence. They employed fragments of sentences such as, yeah, totally, yesterday, crazy weather. And these are people who are native speakers. So why are you trying so hard to be perfect? You don't need to speak perfect English. It just has to help you communicate. That's it. The moment I realized this, I was no longer scared. I quit trying to talk like a dictionary. I stopped pursuing overarching, convoluted grammar. And guess what? My English got better. My fluency improved, because I was done holding myself back. Allow me to offer you one last real-life moment. I saw an English newsreader live on screen once. He had a small grammatical error. He used the phrase, "there's many reasons," instead of the proper, "there are many reasons." Did anyone stop the show? Did people laugh? Number. He kept going, because the message was more urgent than the mistake. That moment stayed with me. It was a powerful lesson for me. Mistakes happen even when you're fluent. You have to be perfect to be confident. You're only you, and you're so good. Consider a child who is learning to speak. They throw off these hilarious, disjointed sentences all the time, but they don't stop. They continue talking, laughing, and learning. That's why they get so much better so quickly. You can do the same. Just speak. Just try. Use the English you know now and the English you don't even know you know yet. Here's the new rule. Fluency is not the absence of errors in speech. Fluency is speaking without fear. So, as of today, stop inquiring, "Is my grammar correct?" and begin asking, "Did I make myself clear?" Delete the question, "Do I sound smart?" and suddenly asking, "Did I get through?" And native speakers use the wrong word sometimes too. They lost their train of thought. They pause. They laugh at themselves. That's normal. That's life. If native speakers are not flawless, why do you strive to be? Let that pressure go. Let perfection go. Your English doesn't need to be the same as mine, or like your teacher's, or like someone in a movie. Your English only has to be your own, honest, brave, real. It's okay to screw up. You may speak slowly. You are permitted to stop and reflect, because this is your journey, and each word you speak, no matter how flawed, takes you one step closer to fluency. So here's the secret, my friend. No one speaks perfect English. Not me. Not you. Not anyone. It is, in fact, precisely for that reason that you should start speaking today, with whatever English you already know, because they care more about what you're saying than how perfect it sounds. You are not in it to impress. You're learning to express. And you're doing a great job. If this video helped you think about speaking English in a new way, give it a thumbs up, share it with someone who's learning, and comment below. I will talk even if I'm wrong. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel, because in the next video I'll show you how to turn mistakes into powerful lessons with a simple daily routine. Keep learning, keep speaking, and remember, nobody speaks perfectly anyway. You are doing better than you realize. Keep going. I'll see you in the next video.